All right, so we're going to talk about testing an MSD box for Spark. This is a 6AL in box. It's exactly the same as a 6AL digital box that you would have in a drag car, a hot rod, something like that. The only difference here is the back is see-through and it's potted, so you can't mess with the internals. That way NASCAR knows that nobody's cheated this box up to get some kind of unfair advantage out of it. So basically what we've got going on here, we've wired it up the way MSD tells you to wire it. We've got our heavy red and our heavy black are our main power and ground. So that's your 12 volt from your battery. And what we're supplying that with is this power supply here, which I can adjust anywhere from 0 to 24 volts. And it goes up to 3 amps. But we're going to leave it set at 12 for this to simulate our automotive battery. So we're running this white wire is what would run to your distributor. Our colors don't correspond. I use scrap, so bear with me on this. I use the yellow, and we're going to use that over here. We're going to tap it to ground, and that's going to simulate our distributor signal. But the distributor signal is what's going to tell this box when to fire. So if we go to our 6-pin weather pack here, if we start at the violet wire, the violet and the green wires are for a magnetic pickup, such as a crank trigger, something you would use on a drag car. You would use that instead of the distributor signal. You would never use both together. So we're going to carry that on. I did have violet and green wire in my scrap pile, so we kept that consistent. Our orange and black wires here, I ended up using orange and pink, so don't get confused there, but the orange wire goes to the positive side of your ignition coil, and the black wire, which is our pink, will go to the negative side. Here on this box, our tack signal wire is brown. It's kind of hard to see because it's an older wire, so it's faded. We use blue. For this test, we're not going to worry about that. I left it over here. We're not messing with the tack right now. And then our last wire is our red wire. That is our 12-volt ignition source. So that's when you key on, it's going to supply a 12-volt ignition signal to this box. So basically what we've got going on here is we've got a coil set up, coil wire coming from the coil, and we've used a bolt in the plug to simulate a spark plug. We got about a 1/2 inch gap here on this ground. We're using this this piece of steel plate here as a ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 tests to test for spark here. I'm going to do the distributor test first, and what I'll do is I'll take this wire and tap it to my ground source, and you should see a spark jump across that gap. And it should be a pretty considerable spark if the box works. And then we'll do our magnetic pickup test, our crank trigger test. And all I'm going to do here is tap the purple and the green wire together, and that's going to do the exact same thing. You're going to see a pretty massive spark jump across that. So here we go. We're going to see what she does. I'm just going to tap it right to the ground. So there we go. We know our distributor signal wire works. So that part of our box is operating correctly. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to tap the violet wire to the green wire, and it's going to simulate the same thing. So let's watch our gap. So there you have it. That's how you test an MSD 6AL digital ignition box.